Alright. Alright, so make sure your stuff is fully done. Now, I'm doing it the old school way, which is brush. So, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get my areas that I am going to be glassing. Kind of like bed the layer, you know, kind of like bed it down and stuff. So, I need to come all the way up here. I don't have to necessarily go all the way up because it's not actually that high. I just went overboard so that it's easier for later on when you're cutting it off. As you can see, it just runs. Now, I'm in the sun. I don't like having my resin directly in the sun because that helps speed up curing. I'll tell you that. One moment you're perfectly fine, the next thing you know, you got a fire going on next to you. Oh, yeah, so we don't want to do that. So here's this. I'll go in here and do all this. Now I'm going to have a much more I guess you could say a much more comprehensive video that will be coming up. This one has to do with my buddy's door panels that I have put off forever. Also, another person's kick panels for his Miata. I know he's been like wanting to kill me for a very long time. It just, time is never my friend. But as you get older, a lot more pain too. All right, so you can see here I've got the pleat up here. Yeah, see how it opens up right there? So now I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to pat this down. The idea here is just simply get everything to stay down. You know, we want to get it down there. Now, I do like the patting method in comparison. I mean, you could do rollers, but when you get into a complicated corner like this, it becomes more difficult, you know, and so it's easier to just do this with a brush. Yes, you can do this many different ways. I totally agree with a lot of people who are going to come at me going like, hey, you know, how come you didn't talk about this way or do this and do this type of method? Yeah, well, guess what? Each to his own, I should say, you know? We all have different methods to our madness. And in this case, this is, you know, get in here, get everything laid down. Now, one of the things I do like to do is to let it, I guess you say, culminate into the corner. You know, let the fluids punch through the fibers. You know, let them get totally soaked. You know, because when it goes to trying to put these down like this, you know, like you can see right here, you see the air, you know, right here in this corner, just being a wee bit of a pain in the butt. You know, this is what I was talking about. You know, when you do these corners and stuff, it's kind of hard. You know, you want to get it in there, you want to get as much as you can. So I'm going to try to get all that air out that I can. Now, some of this is going to be from the material below. Some of the air pockets may already be there that I'm not aware of. You know, because I'm just doing kicks. This isn't structural, so we don't have to go completely insane when it comes to putting down your fiberglass. Alright, so now we want to, again, let the pleats sit how they want to sit. There we go. Right here. Of course, this is a good time to put your headphones on, not earbuds, headphones, I said. Look, if you're trying to have music that sounds good, just get rid of the goddamn earbuds. Yeah, they're convenient, but they suck to listen to. You know, and don't tell me about those $500, $600 earbuds. They're still fucking earbuds, people. What the hell do you expect? Magic? It's not like, you know, sure in the hell ain't magic. That's for damn sure. Alright, now I'm gonna do Actually, you know what? I'm going to move off here. We're going to move on to the next. Go up here like this. Again, I don't need to go as far as I'm going. I'm doing it just simply for the fact that I do know that I will run into it. And as you can see right there, you see that little pleat right there? Little bastard got in my way. I didn't even see it. And before I put down, I went like, damn it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just move it over a little bit so the pleat won't happen. In this case, because I did not prep this piece. I thought I had cleared all of it.
Okay.
So let's see how we're going to do this. Now, fiberglass is an art form. It really is. You know, you sit there and you do all your layering effects. You want to come up with something that you cannot build out of wood. You know. And with today's technology, there's stuff that we can do, and I'm going to be incorporating these in videos to come, is incorporating 3D printing into the design. And what that's going to yield us is a wider range of possibilities, let's put it that way. And what the way I'm going to do it is, I'm going to approach it on the ideas is that the 3D printing is just simply to allow us to create a shape, you know, kind of think of it like a vision, you know, of what you're doing, so that you can put it in place and then work the glass around it. I mean, unless I were to go in here with a 3D scanner, scan this whole area, it would be too difficult to do otherwise. You know, with just a 3D printing, because you'd have to figure out everything. You'd have to understand the shape, you'd have to understand every nuance of what you're doing, which would be damn near impossible. And I could say that with sheer confidence. After 35 years of building kick panels and all sorts of whacked out stuff in my life, I can tell you, this is a lot of fun. Because your creativity is just the abounding creativity that you can throw out anything you want in your head and come up with fiberglass. Now, mind you, there are limits, you know, and there are different types of materials. All that can be, you know, worked out. But right now, we're talking about the basics. We're talking about flat surfaces. We're talking about corners like this. That's what we're talking about right now. All right, now let's do a sidewall. As you see, I'm working my way around. I don't know if you noticed that. I'm working my way around, because like what I like to do is, don't you think about that. See that? That's why I wet it first. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, so let's do this. So I go around in a circle pattern when I'm doing my fiberglassing. The idea is I want to layer the materials, just overlap them, you know, because the hard part is you don't know where your start and your finish is, right? Sometimes, you know, sometimes like if you're doing a mold, it's a lot easier. But like say here in these kick panels, I'm not 100% sure where things are. Now here on this edge here, you can see that I'm being kind of somewhat messy because none of this is going to be used right here. But I'm just going to go ahead and get it laid up. And my finish point of my dash is about right there. This is about where the bottom of the dash is. So, like I said, I'm going to only come up to a certain point and come across right here now. Because I don't have to concern. Now, what I need to do is, before I do this, I need to look. Sure enough, gonna need to throw a couple of pleats in here like that. What that's gonna do again is to allow me to make this corner without any problems. Oh, by the way, that's my favorite thing of doing fiberglass. Hairy hands. Yes, the old guys are laughing, I know that. Young guys are going like, what are you talking about? What do you mean hairy hands? I remember when I taught my son how to do this, he was probably about 16, 17, I think it was, when he did this the first time. He took it up without even thinking. I just gave him basic rules and he started doing this. I was quite surprised. I mean, to be honest with you, Matthew was just sitting here fiberglassing away, didn't ask any real questions. He would maybe every once in a while get stumped on something, and then he would just like, hey, what about this? And I'd show him some more, and boom, he was off to the races. It was amazing to watch my son doing this stuff. I was so scared. I was so worried that he would follow me in this particular field. This is not for the faint of heart, I can tell you that. You have to have unbelievably nerves of steel to want to do stuff like this, because it's all consuming. When you're working, this isn't like a desk job. This is out in the sun, in my case right now, getting a suntan across my back. Turning my hair whiter. But sometimes I think that I should have pushed my son more into mechanical, because that's what that's what our family is. I mean, my grandfather was an engineer. I ended up being one. I didn't go to school, but I am a self-taught engineer. But I enjoy this. There's just something about fiberglassing that is just all calming. Some people don't think that way. They think that it's like the worst thing since sliced bread. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Donald, he's always like, he loves this smell. He's like, dude, I wish we could make this into like soap or fragrance. I made a joke once about this being Chanel number 5, and stuff. But yeah, I enjoy doing this. This is fun. And as you can see right there, this line's being a little bit of a pain in the ass. I have a feeling I'm looking at something that's actually below. I'll see in a second when I get this padded out. Yeah, that's below it. I don't think that's in the current. Sometimes you'll get air bubbles that are permanently in it. Like I said, in this case, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Because one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to, one more, this is my last layer here in this corner. Yeah. Once you get to a certain point, your hands are hairy and everything's hairy, doing what you're doing, this is when you have to rely on your brush. So again, go around it, pat it all down. I don't know if anybody wants to watch a video of me fiberglassing or not, but at least I'll put some words on it, and if I make it into a short video, then so be it. Oh, that's gonna suck. Yeah, see these two pleats right here? So, one of the ways I can get rid of them is you go in here and you kind of play with a dab on the tip of your brush. And what you're doing is you're actually breaking up the fibers so that it will sit down. Now, of course, when I move it, but when I'm doing this on all of it, don't go there. So, let's see here, watch. So I'll soak it up a little bit more. Get that down. Yeah, there we go. See, works. Gone. And it's going to want to reel its head because it's still a little dry in there. A little, so do it again. There we go. Boom. And this can be said in most of the areas where you got air bubbles and stuff. You can go at it like this. Now the catch of this is that it depends on how your fiberglass is set for your cure time. If you set this as a hot mix, because you're pressed for time, yeah, you can quickly run into a problem where you have a fire happening next to you from the activation of the fiberglass. Oh, I should say resin, not fiberglass. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. And again, I don't have to worry about right there is not my concern, really. Okay, I'm just more concerned about right here. Yeah, there's some more air in there. And again, circle pattern. Really, really important. It just helps with, doing a flat surface like this and just getting an idea where you put more down. That's really what this is about. So, now one of the things I'm doing here is my brush is going back and forth. Now, anybody's done fiberglassing will be like going, holy crap, how are you keeping it from getting hairy? And stuff like that. Well, two things. Number one, how much I'm flooding this. And some people will get very upset with me because I'm flooding, basically I'm using a lot of resin. And that doesn't make it stronger. It really doesn't. I could make this, if I were to somehow magically vacuum bag that, oh man, that would be awesome. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do strips right along the top perimeter edge here. All right. This kind of is like my, where it's going to be finished at, basically. So now when I'm done, this should be about almost 1/4 of an inch in thickness. Come on, baby. There you go. Now, what you could do, if you want to go and get all the tools, do everything really expensive, it doesn't mean necessarily right either, by the way. Just because you do something expensive, by going out and getting all the special tools and everything, doesn't mean you're doing it correctly. It just means that you're spending a lot of money. Really, that's all it means. Doesn't mean anything else. I can do this stuff with very basic tools. I do it all the time with basic tools. I mean, hell, shit, I use Harbor Freight tools, for the last 2 years, just because I refuse to go and spend a lot of money on tools. Trust me, I've had more than my share of tools in my life. I don't want to go out and buy more again. Nope, that's not going to work. So I'll put you right there. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go. Because this is going to be the areas where it's going to take a lot of pressure against the bending forces. It's going to want to come out. Let's get that in there like this. And again, you can see how that almost all the air voids are gone. There's some in there, but I expect it, because it's not going to cause us any problems. Let's go. Put you right there. All right, that's the last piece. You know what? I think I'll throw something else right there. Let's do that. Now, some of the areas might be a little thicker than others. That is going to happen, because you can't. It's hard to immediately know what's going on. All right, let's see what I've got here. All right, this is the last piece. bottom. Go up here to the top. I'm gonna work my way down, just nice patting it down. Now this is where it can get hairy if you don't have your brush wet enough. You know, when you stroke it like this. Yeah, don't make the jokes, I know. A bunch of guys watching this, they're just laughing and giggling right now. As long as you're not drinking a Bud Light. Oh yeah, I said that. Alright, there you go. So, and again, not really concerned about this outside, but I don't want it to flare outward. So I'll make sure it all sits down. Go through everything. I'm looking for, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just looking for hair. Stuff that's sticking up due to the fact of doing what I've been doing. Other than that, that's it. That is how hard this is. You know. It is not that difficult to do. It is time consuming. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag out some of this wet out to the outside here, okay? Because we don't need the excess resin in the unit. All it does is make it heavier. And so I'm just going to drag out excess material, let it dry or cure outside. Oh, hey, look at that, look at that. Hey, that's what happens when I do it a little bit backwards. And it's also one of the reasons why I like to do things in a circle, because as you layer it, like this layer is sitting on top of this layer, well, normally I would start from here, and then, you know, and then I would have this layer, and this layer, and this layer, and this layer. And in this way I know where the layer edges are, and that way I can easily, you know, because if I go like this, you know, so right there is the layer edge right there. So I don't want to disturb that, so go ahead and lay it down. Other than that, that's it, guys. So I hope you learned something a little bit here. I've still got more to do and a lot more complicated stuff to do, so hopefully that'll teach you something. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.